But today, someone sent me a message, and that's what I'll be treating tonight in within the short time that I have. Sent me a message and was like, how do I break free from gambling addiction? So tonight I'll just share briefly on how to handle gambling addiction. A lot of people don't know that gambling addiction it's a mental defect. Okay, it's a mental defect. It's a psychological defect. So a lot of people are addicted to gambling without even knowing. Okay, and there's an increase in the interactions of young people, especially young people, with gambling. There's an increase with the number of gambling companies, betting companies, all on the increase. And the thought usually is, oh, these companies come to make us rich. Not necessarily. Okay, I'm going to be sharing with you some few statistics and some signs to know that you are addicted to gambling and steps to take, okay, to overcome gambling addiction. All right. So hello, Barrister Sarabo, good to have you. Okay, so it will shock you, it will amaze you that in Nigeria only about 65 million people are actively into gambling, majorly sports betting, and 90% of that is majorly sports betting, and you see others in other forms of gambling, casino gambling, Baba Ijebu, cards and all that. But sports betting is on the increase, and you also see a rise in the number of sports betting companies. Okay, so these activities impacting severely on young people. Okay, 65 million Nigerians. So 4 out of every 10 Nigerian you see engage in gambling or betting. 4 out of every 10, and that is a staggering 65 million of our population actively in gambling. Okay, and there are different reasons for this. There are different factors responsible for this. But my goal is to ensure the persons who have been addicted or who are addicted to gambling are able to break free. Some persons really want to break free because gambling has put a lot of people into serious trouble. Psychological, financial, relationship, and across board. Okay, in the US, you have about 10 million addicted gamblers. Okay, in Nigeria, you see 65 million gamblers, but 20 to 23% of that are addicted. So that gives you an average of about 13 to 15 million addicted gamblers who do not have control over themselves when it comes to gambling. Some will go to the extent of stealing to gamble. Usually, in the 90s, before the advent of the internet, you see coupon pools. Okay, for those people who are old enough to understand coupon. Okay, it was for the elderly. Old people play pool, and usually it was a wasting kind of activity for people. Old people were just wasting away. Okay, usually when you find old people who are engaged in pool or playing, Baba Ijebu or pool, they are people who they are not productive with their time. Okay, so gambling also eats up your time. So they sit down at the pool center, just gamble all day. Usually they are have issues with family, with friends, and all that. So, but with the advent of the internet, more persons are now engaged into gambling, and sports betting is on the rise. And a lot of young people are gradually being seriously addicted to gambling. And this must be curtailed. Else, with the staggering number of 65 million gamblers in Nigeria and 4 out of every 10 Nigerian actively into gambling, and 20 to 23% of that being addicted, it's worrisome. Okay? No matter what it is, addiction has its impact on you. Okay, so that's what I'm dealing with, gambling addiction today. So what are some of the signs to know that there are people who just gamble for fun, okay? Who just, they have enough money just to spare and they just want to try their luck, okay? Gambling is putting your life always in the balance, okay? And this is what the gambling companies strive on. False hope. making you believe that the next play will give you the big win. But it's not usually so. Okay? They are just robbing Peter to pay Paul. And that's the truth. For those of you who are gambling, how many times have you actually won? What is the change that gambling has brought to your life as an individual? If you take stock of how much you have actually put in, it will amaze you that if you have put that money into some other investment, because it does not come all at once, it comes in 500, some 1,000, some 3,000, and it just grows. And before you know it, you are spending a whole life earning on gambling. All right? And it's gradually on the increase, and the impact is severe. Okay? So what are some of the signs that you are addicted to gambling? All right? One is when you become restless when you are not gambling. Okay, you don't feel settled. You want to be on, the game board. You want to be in the game house. There's this restlessness, within you when you are not gambling. Okay, that's one. Number two, when you are helpless around a casino, a betting center. All right, anytime you are around a betting center, you can't help it. You just want to play. Okay, you just want to play. You are in the casino. You are in the sports betting center. No matter what it is, you just want to play. Okay, that's number two. Number three, when you use gambling as your source of or your means of passing time. Okay, anytime you are stressed or you are anxious, gambling just seems to be the getaway. It's a proof that you are addicted to gambling, or you have gambling addiction. Okay, number four, when you hide to gamble, especially young people, usually gambling is rated 18. It's meant for adults. But sadly, it is no longer so. We find younger adults, 13, 14, 15, 16, involved in gambling. And once they are hooked on it, they go all in. And most of these kids are dependent on their parents. So some of them go to the extent of stealing from their parents, selling items from their homes just to gamble. Okay, so when you hide to gamble, it is also, or you are not proud of it, whether with your friends or with your colleagues, addiction thrives in secrecy. Remember, I said that in, my video. If you didn't watch, my previous video on handling addiction, please go ahead, check my YouTube channel, Dr. Joel Ago, and check out the video. Addiction thrives in secrecy. Okay, so when you are not proud to, tell your colleagues that you're a gambler, okay, it shows that you gradually you are seriously getting addicted to gambling. And when you gamble despite financial insufficiency, it's a clear proof that you are addicted. Some persons don't have cash to eat, but they have enough to do sports betting. Okay, some persons don't have cash to give to their spouses or to their children, but they have enough to gamble. That is a clear proof that you are addicted to gambling. And these are the signs of gambling addiction, and it's seriously on the increase. So what are the factors that encourages or sponsor that addiction, especially within the black community of developing countries or countries like Nigeria? Number one is unemployment. Because people are not engaged with activity. This does not mean that workers don't gamble. No, but when you look at the percentage of persons who are addicted to gambling, many of them are unemployed. So unemployment is a major factor. Number two is poverty. Okay, because of poverty, there is this syndrome to say, this get rich quick syndrome. Okay, this bet will be your next breakthrough. So people are given false hope. There's this anticipation that my next breakthrough could be on this sleep. So you just keep going, The breakthrough is not coming, but the hope keeps coming from the betting company, and you just see your money, getting into it. So lots of people get into it because of poverty. They just want to break out. Some other persons is just, the feeling of wanting to engage in luck. Okay, just try your luck. I don't know what life got for me, but let me just try the luck. And this leads to unnecessary risk taking. In fact, gamblers are extreme risk takers, and most of the risks taken by gamblers are uncalculated risks, and usually uncalculated risk has dire consequences. Okay, uncalculated risk has dire consequences, and this is one of the major challenge and impact of gambling. Okay, and this is very, very, very important. So you see people taking risks, some going to the extreme of stealing, of robbing people of their property, or robbing parents, or just doing all manner of things to get money to gamble. All right, so the impact of gambling includes it eats up your finances. It could wreck you financially. In fact, gamblers are usually needy people. Right? It wrecks you financially. It affects your focus because it takes your focus away from what you can engage in productively, and then you're just living on the balance, okay? Living on chance or living on luck, okay? And usually, life is not built like that. We are not to live by luck or by chance. You must be committed to something to make it work. So at the end of the day, it is the betting companies that are just ripping you off. They're not going to tell you this because they pay lots of taxes to government. Government gets lots of revenues from them, and they make lots of money, but you are the one paying it all. So you see betting shops, gambling centers springing up everywhere. They're just after your money. Right? So there's a financial impact. It depletes your finances. It depletes your focus. It also affects, your like I said, it affects your inability to take calculated risk. You just want to leave everything by chance, and that has its impact. Okay, so for the person who sent this question, that's why I'm dealing with it today, how to handle gambling addiction. And I'm telling you, gambling addiction is on the rise. So in rounding up tonight, please do well to share this video. It could benefit, or it will benefit, people within your network. Okay, also send me your questions, whether on gambling or other forms of addictions, as I'll be sharing in the coming days or in the coming Mondays. Other forms of addictions to pornography, addictions to drugs, alcohol, and all that. But tonight I'm just sharing on handling gambling addictions, and a lot of young people are engaged in this. Okay, so how do you handle gambling addiction? If you have the signs of of gambling addiction, or you find gambling irresistible, or you just feel helpless around the betting shop, you don't know why you gamble. Some persons, despite their financial insufficiency, they just see themselves gambling. What do you do? Number one is to identify that you have a problem. Okay, you have to identify the problem. Okay, gambling, you are addicted. You have to identify that you are addicted to gambling. Okay, and you must be sincere enough to wanting to get help. Okay, so one, identify your gambling triggers. What are the things that spur you up to want to gamble? It could be friends. Okay, it could be friends who a league of gamblers. Could be friends. It could be the proximity of a betting shop. Okay, it could be sports. A lot of people, because of their engagement in football, just wanting to be aware, they understand that, Man U is going to beat, or Arsenal is going to beat Man U, Chelsea is going to win, Tottenham, and because of that, they want to now try it out and see, what comes out of it. Okay, so it could be engagement in, watching football or other forms of sports. Okay, so you have to intentionally reduce your exposure to gambling triggers, whether to friends who spur you up to want to gamble, or to sports centers, or to activity or event that that encourages you to want to gamble. Okay, that is the first step. Number two, you have to seek for professional help. There are communities of people who are dealing with gambling addictions that you can belong to, and have an accountability partner, people that tend to watch your back and keep you in track. Okay. Number three, you have to engage in other forms of activities. Because the truth is, like I said in my previous video, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Okay, you have to engage in other forms of activity. Engage in sporting activities yourself, swimming, tennis, jogging, exercise. Okay, exercise, like I said, helps in releasing happy hormones. It just gets you off the stress of wanting to, get to, gamble, put your money somewhere. There are several other exercises you can get yourself involved or engaged in. Then you can volunteer. The truth is, when there is nothing specific your money or your finances is targeted towards, it is easier for you to spend your money gambling. All right? When there is no project, there is no focus where your finances is going into that you are really passionate or concerned about, it is easier for you to spend your money gambling. So volunteer for something, okay? Volunteer for a project where you are committed to physically, financially, intellectually and otherwise. Volunteer for something. So I've itemized: one, identify the triggers that triggers you to want to gamble. It could be friends, could be sporting activities, and then reduce your exposure. Okay, if driving by the casino home makes you want to branch, take a different route, different from the casino route. Okay, so reduce your exposure. That is very, very important, and reduce your triggers. Okay, number two, engage in other physical activities. All right, engage in other physical activities like exercise, things that that you are engaged in and preoccupies your mind. Okay, number three, you can be involved in a help group. Okay, a help group of people who are dealing with a same kind of addiction. Then number four, you can volunteer. Have a focus where your finances and your time is spent. All right, so for the person who sent this question on how to deal with addiction, these are the 4 points that I would like to share with you. But please take note, gambling addiction is real, it's on the increase, and the statistics I shared, you can share. One of them was published on, I think, This Day newspaper, October 29th, 2021. And then I think The Nation in 2020, September 7th, I think, publication on, gambling and gambling addiction. So gambling addiction is real, and lots of young people are engaged in this, and it's killing young people. I'm telling you, it's killing young people. So you see young people clashing because of gambling. Depression comes when you don't win. All right, you have spent your money and you have not won. A lot of people are depressed, they are angry. Some people transfer the aggression of not winning a gamble to their spouse, to their children, or to their words of family members, and this gradually is affecting relationships, is affecting family, and it's affecting the mental stability of young people. So please take note, gambling addiction is real, its impact is real, and we must take the needed step to ensure that people get back their control. All right, so these have been my thought tonight on how to handle gambling addiction. But please feel free to share this broadcast, especially for young people, secondary school, post-primary, university students who are actively into this, so that they can be aware and take the necessary step to overcome this. But please feel free to share me your questions, send me your remarks, and let me know what you think. And follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, so it's been a great time with you tonight. I'll be continuing the series on handling addiction. Tonight I've just shared on handling gambling addiction. I'll be sharing also on handling sexual addiction like pornography, masturbation, addiction to drugs or hard substances in the coming days. So please keep it a date with me. You can also just have the notification so that when I come online, you can also be aware, and then we can share. Okay, so it's been a great time being here tonight, and this is usually Mastermind with Dr. Joel. I'm usually called the Mind Doctor. That's my new name now. Okay. All right. So it's been a pleasure. Hello, Ogiga. Good to have you. Our team, good to have you. Jemima, please do well to share this broadcast so that it can benefit people within your network. Don't forget, your mind is the powerhouse of your life. Make sure you're in charge and have absolute control. Bye-bye. Have a great night. Bye.